Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruchakudash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is, I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy. Now, earlier this morning, before I woke up, or around the time I woke up, this phrase came through my mind, which I knew it was in the scriptures. I wasn't sure where. I thought it might have been in Job, but it's actually in Jeremiah. And when it first came, when it first came to my mind, I was half asleep. I was just meditating on it, and when you start to really, your mind starts to focus. You kind of get a little nervous. Because you're wondering, is the Lord, saying that to me? Is he getting at me? Because I know I ain't nothing but a piece of shit. But I know I'm trying to do the best that I can. So that was the first thought that came to mind. And then as I kept meditating on it, and when I found out the scripture that it came from, pretty much, this particular verse and this particular chapter we're going to go through, Lord's will, is pretty much, really a devastating blow to Jake, out here in the world in general. So pretty much, the Most High is going to treat these Jakes out here like enemies. So anyone that's not a part of the elect, anyone that's not in the good graces of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, is going to be treated like an enemy. And when you have an enemy, they're not going to treat you well. As the definition here for enemy, one hostile to another, one who hates and desires or attempts the injury of another, a foe, an adversary, as an enemy of or to a person, an enemy to truth or to falsehood. So the Lord said he's going to wound Jake with the wound of an enemy. What is that scripture? Just bear with me 1 second. This is good, but there was another one, something along this line. Sirach 25:15. There is no head above the head of a serpent, and there is no wrath above the wrath of an enemy. There's another one, something similar to this, but this is a good one if I can't find the other one. Let me just type in enemy. See, this doesn't give you the option just to check in the Apocrypha. The one on the phone gives you the option to check the something along the lines. I guess maybe that was it. I was thinking there was something along the lines that not to allow my enemy to rejoice over me, or something. I can't really think how it's worded. Maybe I'm just mixing it up with this one. All right, let's see. Let's try Proverbs. If not, we'll just move on from here. All right, so that one's good enough. Let's go back to it. Read it again. Yeah. Sirach 25:15. There is no head above the head of a serpent. It says, and there is no wrath above the wrath of an enemy. Right. So the Lord said he's going to wound us with the wound of an enemy, or pretty much going to wound Jake out here. Lord's will, we find grace in the Lord in that sight, because the scriptures say, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, So Jeremiah 30:14 says, all thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. And that's why it says, I believe that's Jeremiah 2. Just bear with me. And 19, yep. Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Now therefore, know therefore, and see that it is an evil thing and bitter, that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy power, and that my fear is not in thee, save the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shai, the power of hosts. Yeah, so so shit is gonna get bad out here, real bad, and real quick. There was a video that was sent to me earlier today, which was actually a video from 6 days ago, where the guy was saying there's like 13 days left, before, I forget exactly how he put it, but it's going to get really, really bad. And I calculated it, and it's going to fall around the end of June, beginning of July. Because remember, as everything is collapsing, the first half of this year has been really bad, but now it's going to get even worse. So the Lord said he's going to wound Jake with the wound of an enemy. So as we start in the first verse here in Jeremiah 30, it says, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, thus speaketh the Lord, power of Israel. It says, that's a real good one right here that the elder put up. Psalms 25:2. O my power, I trust in thee. Let me not be ashamed. Let not mine enemies triumph over me. Yeah, I believe this is the one I was looking for. Beautiful, beautiful. That's the one. O my power, I trust in thee. Let me not be ashamed. Let not mine enemies triumph over me. Right. So the Lord said he's going to wound Jake with the wound of an enemy. And we read that an enemy was somebody that opposes or hates, that wishes harm. And whatever amount of damage they could do, the more the damage they could do, the better for them, because, that'll appease their rage, So the Lord is going to be appeased when these calamities come upon Jake. And just like he was appeased when Phinehas ran that Jake through his back and that Midianite woman through her stomach when he was having sex in the name of their God. And it said that appeased the anger of the Lord. So when the Lord starts bringing down, death by the tons out here in these streets, that's going to appease the wrath of the Lord, But the Lord has been holding back for a long time. So when he unleashes it, it's going to be something. Thus speaketh the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shai, power of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. Yeah, and this book is a witness pretty much against all of us. For lo, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shai, that I will bring again the captivity of my people. And what does this mean? It means that the Lord is going to deliver his people, Israel and Judah, because the two kingdoms after Rehoboam and Jeroboam, there was a separation, a split, and the two kingdoms have not come together ever since. Now you had some of the, northern kingdom that went with the southern kingdom, but for the most part, the nation of Israel has not been united. The Lord said he will break the brotherhood, between Judah and Israel. And that's been so unto this very day. So when we go to Jeremiah 50:33, it says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. And this is today in modern day Babylon, which is Babylon the Great, which is America. And you have both the northern and southern, or the southern and northern kingdoms here oppressed together. And that's why the Lord caused these devils to bring the southern kingdom over here in slave ships in order to fulfill this prophecy here, and these in prophecies like this, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go, just like the Pharaoh did. It is not a coincidence that today America is known as the spiritual Egypt, and the ones that are ruling it, these so-called presidents would be the modern day pharaohs that have handlers behind the scenes, the international banking families, but nevertheless, they would be like the new pharaohs. It says, their Redeemer is strong. The Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. And they're going to have to pay for this. Yeah, the Lord did what he did to us. He punished us, but they helped forward the affliction. And now they're going to have to pay for it. Now, when we go to Jeremiah 3:15, it says, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And this is why Jake is without excuse now, because they've been reprimanded, they've been corrected, they've been admonished, they've been rebuked, they've been told that they're doing wrong. And what do they keep doing? They keep rebelling. They say, the hell with you. We're going to do what we want to do. All right, we'll see how long that lasts. That's what the Lord said he's going to withdraw himself, into his place until they acknowledge their offense. In their affliction, they will seek me early. But it's going to be a point where it's going to be too late, because the wrath of the Lord is going to be poured out upon the earth. It says, and it shall come to pass when ye be multiplied and increased in the land in those days, saith the Lord, they shall say no more the ark of the covenant of the Lord, neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore. Why? Because the Most High and his Son, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, they will be in the presence of us. The reason for the Ark of the Covenant, which was that covenant or the agreement between the Heavenly Father and us to keep his end of the bargain, so to speak, when he would come once a year and his presence would be shown on the mercy seat to take away our iniquities for that year. When the high priest would bring forth, those different sacrifices for atonement. But that's no longer needed because the presence of the Lord is going to be there. The sanctuary is going to be there. The Most High and Yahushua are going to be the sanctuary. There's not going to be any need for, that to be on the earth anymore, because the Lord's presence is going to be here. It says that at that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushai, and all nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk anymore after the imagination of their evil heart. Why? Because the Lord is going to take Jake and he's going to put the laws, statutes, and commandments inside of us. It says, at that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of the Lord, and all nations shall be gathered unto it. Just read that. It says, in those days the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together what? Out of the land of the north. So we're in this time where the Lord is building back up, his people, to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers. Right. Now, let's go real quick, since we're speaking about building. Let's go to Amos chapter 9 and 11. It says, the restoration of Israel, and we're seeing right now the restoration of Yasha Allah. The southern kingdom and the northern kingdom coming together from out of the world, putting away those differences, putting away those vexations and those envies that exist among the tribes still out in the world today. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, right? Because the tabernacle of David, or the house of David, was falling at one time, right after King Solomon. During Rehoboam and Jeroboam, there was a big split. And that big split has not been healed, until these times now, to fulfill this prophecy here in the book of Amos 9:11. Because the Lord said himself that he would break the brotherhood. He broke bands, which the word band means to bind together. And he would break his staff bands, that he may break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. And that has been so ever since, going all the way back, during the time of Jeroboam and Rehoboam. And now in these times is when we're getting back together after so many thousands of years. It says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. Right. So in other words, he's going to build everything back up. So there's no breach. There's no wall that's fallen spiritually. And he's going to mend and get rid of all of the differences among the tribes and bring them back together as one. That's why you see the 12 tribe sign from Judah all the way down to Issachar. You see the different camps, popping up all over the place, especially all throughout America, Babylon the Great. You see the camaraderie, the companionship, the brotherhood, with Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Gad, Reuben, Ephraim, Naphtali, Manasseh, Gad, if I said Gad already, Issachar. You see all of that happening, all of the tribes coming back together as one. So-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native American Indians, all coming together as one. Under the same banner, teaching the same thing, holding the same stick, which is the 12 tribes chart. It says, and I will raise up his ruins and I will build it as in the days of old. Right. So in other words, he's going to bring everything back together. But the building in this time is going to be greater than the past. But it's going to be the same tribes all coming back together as one. Not just the tribe of Judah, not just the tribe of Benjamin, not just the tribe of Ephraim, all of the tribes coming back together. Because you still have those that teach only the southern kingdom, are Jakes, so-called only black, all Israelites are black. Then you have those that teach that only northern kingdom are the Israelites, the so-called Latinos and so-called Indians. And they're both wrong, because the Israelites are both. The so-called Negroes and the so-called Latinos, which are really Indians, so-called Indians. All right. So going back to Jeremiah 30:3, for lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah. So the Lord is about to deliver us. That's why we're out there prophesying on the streets, cursing out the king of Babylon, cursing out these Jakes, letting them know that judgment is coming. And it's going to get very, 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 very bad out here. We're just witnessing the calm before the storm. Because the first half of this month has been bad. The first half of this year has been bad. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. It's going to get really, really bad out here. Saith the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. So we're going to get ready to go back over there. But first, there has to be the gathering together of all the 12 tribes, building up the tabernacles of David, sealing up those breaches, healing the nation of Israel, the elect in this time, because all Israel will not be delivered in this time. Although once the kingdom is established, those that don't make it will come back. And these are the words that the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah, the whole nation of Israel. Because all 12 tribes are going to come back. But only the elect of those tribes are going to be delivered in these times. And that's your 12,000 from each tribe, which is literal vocab. And the multitude of the people, from all nations and all that, those are Israelites gathered from around the four corners of the earth that were scattered among these nations, no matter what they look like. But their spirit are Israelites, because their fathers and fathers, fathers and fathers, 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 all the way back, go back to the Israelites that mingled among these nations and took on the look and the customs and the languages and the dietary ways of these different nations. It says, for thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. And why is it saying this? Because of the fear and the trembling that's coming There's not going to be peace. It's not going to be see, everybody thinking that everything's going to go right back to how it was before. It's going to get worse. There's a video out there where Biden just said that, you got to prepare for the next PD. The demic pan. You got to get ready to be prepared for the next one. And he said pretty much it's coming. And he didn't look like he was out of his, how there's some clips where they showed he's saying certain shit that it seemed like he's totally out of his mind. Well, when he said that with conviction. Like when George Bush Jr., when they asked him, do you think you're going to lose it? Oh, no, I'm not going to lose. And he said that staunch-faced. Like he just knew he wasn't going to lose, and he didn't. Because he already knew. They already told him. So when Biden said that, he said that with conviction because they already know what's going on. Ask ye now whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. And why are faces going to be turned into paleness? Because of the fear and the horror of the things that are going to come upon the earth, and the shame that a lot of these Israelites are going to have and feel when all hell breaks loose, and to think that they had the opportunity to learn and to listen to what's coming, to be prepared and to be protected, and they refused it because it wasn't given to them. Just like it wasn't given to the people during the time of Noah to be saved. They were staunchly against what Noah was doing until the day when they entered into the ark and the Lord shut the doors and it started raining. Then they took it serious. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Let's look up this word trouble, and let's get this other precept. Precept that. Daniel 12. Let's hold on to that. And let's go back and let's get the word trouble. And you could do a search, a word search on the word trouble, and a lot of stuff comes out. The word tazarah, which I believe means fear. Straits, distress, trouble, vexer, rival wife, anguish, affliction. Tribulation, trouble. Let's look up the word trouble in the common dictionary. Let's look up the word meaning. Difficulty or problems. Public unrest or disorder. Cause distress or anxiety to. And what's going to cause this distress and anxiety, this public unrest, the public disorder, the difficult times or problems? The lack of food that's coming. Like the brother put here, 2 Ezra 16:17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Because it's going to be bad out here. Daniel 12, it says, and at that time shall Michael stand up. Why is Michael, the archangel, underneath Yahushai, and the other angels, why are they going to have to stand up? Because they're going to have to come and protect the package, the purchased possession, because things are going to get really bad out here. And unless those days would shorten, there shall no flesh be left to be saved. Because they are the ministers of the Lord. Let's go to Hebrews, the ministers of the heirs of the kingdom. Hebrews 1 and 14. I'll start at 13. But to which of the angels said he at any time, sit on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool? None but unto Yahushai. Are they not all ministering spirits? Send forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation. Right. And that's why there is a hedge upon the elect to be protected from all danger, from all harm, because they're being protected and saved for that day when they get delivered. So going back to Daniel 12, and at that time shall Michael stand up. Why? Let's go to Psalms 34 and 7. The angel of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai encampeth round about them that fear him to what? And delivereth them. It also says in Psalm 91 that he giveth his angels charge over thee, or over them, over thee. So there has to be divine guidance, divine protection, divine intervention in order to protect the elect from these times. And also there has to be a shortening of the days of Esau's rulership. Other than that, it's a wrap for everybody, because this devil's killing everybody, including himself. That's how much of a maniac this devil is. It says, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, to do what? To deliver them, to protect them. And there shall be a time of trouble, there goes the word trouble again, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time that people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So this time of Jacob's trouble is going to be something that's going to be very troublesome, very hard to deal with. Straight times, perilous times, desperate times. There's going to be very troubling and hard to deal with unless the Spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai be with us to deliver us in these days. So let's read this again. Alas, for that day. And alas is a term or a something that somebody says when there is serious trouble. The word alas, hawaya, alas, ha, ho, oh, woe. Right. It's a gesture of pain. See, of lamenting, of threatening. Let's see. Boom. Of lamenting, of admonishing. See, it gives you a whole host of scriptures behind that. So it says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Why? Because you have an election among the Israelites that will be delivered, that will be protected. And it's not a thing, I'm protected because I'm so righteous. If you got that mindset, you might not make it. I'm protected because I there's nothing you can't, that stony heart that don't apply to me, and there's nobody that could tell me anything. I'm gonna make it because I already know. No, if you in that mindset, you ain't gonna make it, man. I mean, you have to have a certain confidence about you, but not a prideful, boastful spirit, because at the end of the day, we're saved by hope. And hope is just that, hope. That when all hell breaks loose, the Lord is going to protect us and deliver us. It says, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck. Why? Because of the elect, for the elect's sake. And will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. Right. Because this is the same time when the Lord is going to deliver us. It's going to be around the same time of Jacob's trouble. Which Jacob's trouble is these different calamities coming. And ultimately what? Desperate times call for desperate measures, and a desperate mind state will make desperate decisions. And that's when these devils come in, as they do, knowing the nature of people, with the solution of the MO to the TB, which is the C hip. You put the C with the hip together, you get the word. And then that's going to be the main determining factor of who is a part of the elect and who's not. Then shall be known who are my chosen. Because when people are put into this predicament, they're going to want to, find a solution or a remedy, for them to get out of this bad predicament. And that bad predicament is going to be given to them by pressure from above and pressure from below, which with the solution sandwiched in the middle. Hegelian dialectics, But they shall serve the Lord their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. And this is talked about in the last days. And we are serving the Lord our power, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, because we were brought back to that. And David our king, whom I will raise up unto them. So anyone teaching that, you shouldn't be teaching that because we don't know it. Well, you don't know the scriptures. Because the scriptures tell us that we'll be seeking David our king. We'll be serving David our king in these times. So we would have to know in order to be able to serve. Makes sense to me. It says, therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem El-Shai, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And the main land is here in America. But there's going to be a salvation that's going to be spread out throughout the four corners. Because Yahweh said he will gather his elect from the four winds of the heavens. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. Yeah, because this is the last hurrah. You know, once you see the implementation on a wide scale of this MO to the TB, then we know that our salvation is nearer than when we believed. For I am with thee, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem El-Shai, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will what? But I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished, because the other nations don't get that treatment. When we read here in 2 Maccabees 6 and 12, it says, now I beseech those that read this book, that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. Because the Lord said what? Whom he loveth, he chasteneth and rebuketh often. Why? So that our iniquities do not become built up so high to where there's no remedy. All right? It says, for it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, till they be come to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us. So when he moves on these nations, he hits them with everything he got. You know, till they're totally destroyed. There's no pulling back. There's no mercy. There's nothing there. No compassion. Just fierce destruction. And that's how this place is going to go out. The Lord said he's going to roar like a lion when he gets loose on this place. Lest that, being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us. And theretofore he never withdraw his mercy from us. And though he punish with adversity, yet doth he never forsake his people. That's why we're punished, what? In measure. Least that our punishments deserve, that our iniquities deserve, but nevertheless it's still a chastisement. All right? And that's why he said he would not, but I will correct thee in measure and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. For thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, because it says the whole head is sick, and thy wound is grievous. Yeah. So the reason why we're in this condition is because of the Lord put us in this condition because of what we did. And we know that there's a greater reason for that. But just to put it on surface level, that's why we're here. That's why we're catching hell. There is none to plead thy cause. Right. Because the Lord is the one that's witnessing against us and against Jake out here. That thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. So the ones that are not a part of the elect, they have no healing medicines. There's nothing that they can do. And we're going to read another precept once I get to this part here. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. So what happened? There was no remedy left. There was no other alternative. There was no other avenue that could be gone down. You know, all of the mercies of Jake have come to a point where they're pretty much exhausted. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 36:15. And the Lord power of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes, meaning early, and sending because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. So the reason why the Lord sends the prophets out is to have compassion on the people. And he says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions. Why? So once you hear the transgressions, you know that what you're doing is wrong. That ignorance no longer is an excuse. So either you're going to choose the right side or the wrong side. And if you continue down that path, it's going to lead to devastation, destruction, famine, death. It says, and on his dwelling place, but they mocked the messengers of the Most High. Why? Because they're not looking at it as a message from the Most High himself. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They're looking at it as men on the corner with, they call them dresses or whatever they call it, bugged out of their minds, crazy individuals yelling at them, not knowing that this is the Lord reaching out to them and telling them that they're going off to turn around and repent because danger is coming. If you continue down that path, you're continuing down a dangerous path. Just like somebody would tell a drug addict, if you keep on down that road, it's going to lead to either death or incarceration. Somebody tell an alcoholic the same thing. Somebody that pops pills and all that shit, same thing. Somebody that eats a horrible, terrible diet, same thing. Until what? There is no remedy. So it says, but they mocked the messengers of the Most High and despised his words. You can read Proverbs, the first chapter, where it tells us that, because Jake rejected the Lord, he's going to reject them. And misused his prophets until the wrath of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, arose against his people, in this case, time of Jacob's trouble, till there was no remedy. There was no cure, no alternative, no, amendment that could be made at this point. And the word there is ma-rapah, which is a compound word, which means of. Ma means of or from if it's not connected to the word, and rapah means healing. No healing. Health, healing, cure, health, profit, sound of mind, healing, incurable with negative. Because there's no remedy. And what is a remedy? A remedy is like a cure. Remedy. A medicine or treatment for a disease or injury. The margin within which coins are minted may differ from. Okay, no, that's not what we want. We want the remedy. Set right an undesirable situation. Right. Set right an undesirable situation. What is the undesirable situation? These perilous times that are coming, the time of Jacob's trouble. So when the prophets are out there and teaching the words of the Lord are that remedy, are that ointment that can soothe and heal that wound so that you don't go worse into it. But Jake refused it. They refused it. So there was no remedy left. So going back to Jeremiah 30 and 15, why criest thou for thine affliction? Right, when all this hell start, you see these women now losing it. Oh my God, I don't know. I'm going to feed my kids, man. I can't fucking feed my kids, bro. Blah, 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 blah. Bugging out. I got to choose between putting gas in my car and eating. Blah, blah, blah. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. And it's going to be really bad, man. That's why the prophets always want, Lord, man, who's going to save me in those days? It says that's why it behooves the people that are listening to this to really take heed, man. Don't take this as a joke. Those of you out there that's watching this for entertainment, this is not entertainment, man. This is serious business. Some of you get your popcorn and your pop. You know, what you should be, I ain't gonna say it, if you drinking that crap. You know, if you drinking pop, you should just pop some cyanide pills. But it's gonna get really bad, man. It's gonna get really bad. So those of you that be watching for entertainment, well, guess what? You're gonna be a part of the entertainment when these devils start doing their thing. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. So the thing is, it's a catch-22. Yeah, the Lord allowed them to do it, but they're going to have to pay for that. You see? Now, before we read on, let's go back to Jeremiah 50 and 34. Their Redeemer is strong, the Lord of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that they may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. And that's where the Lord is going to bring hell upon Esau. You know, a sword is upon the Chaldeans, saith the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon our princes, and upon her wise men. Yeah, because the Lord is going to judge them. And ultimately, the judgment of America is destruction by thermonuclear destruction, thermonuclear fire. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed, because this place is going to be totally annihilated. All right. So going back to Jeremiah 30 and 16, therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, there ain't going to be none to escape, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So this is what you got to look forward to. Yeah, we caught hell, we catching hell, but you have to pay. Don't think you're going to escape. That's what, Jeremiah 49. And Jeremiah is a real heavy, deep, prophetic book. You know? The scriptures say that we weren't supposed to drink of that cup, but we drank of it. Oh, we drank of it. And the Lord said, are you going to be the one that's going to go unpunished? You're going to drink of it, man. Here it is. We're the apple of the Most High's eye, and he calls us to drink of this fierceness of his wrath. With mercy, of course. You think you're going to get away with it? Shit. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. And let's look up this word outcast. We've done it before. What's the Hebrew word there? The word there is nadach. To impel, thrust, drive away, banish. Right. So we became strangers because we were banished and thrust away from our home. We also fell from that great stature that we were in. To impel, to thrust away, banish, chased, hunted. Let's look up the word outcast. See what it says in the Common Dictionary. A person who has been rejected by society or a social group. Do not the scriptures say that we will not be reckoned among the nations? We're not recognized among the nations. The small hatters and the wig wearers, they're recognized among the nations. We're not recognized. To the world, we're just niggas, spicks, spooks, wetbacks, tontos, beaners. A byword, slaves. Where everybody else comes to this country, right? And everybody prospers except for us. Especially Judah. That should get people to scratching their head. Big time. All right, so going back. So there's going to be a vindication. Then it says restoration of Jacob. So there's going to be a devastation upon Jake and a restoration also. It says, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, which are all the tribes, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. Right. So first, there's going to be a building spiritually of the people. The time of Jacob's trouble, that spiritual temple. Then once this shithole goes down, then the Lord's going to set up and establish the kingdom of heaven. And everything's going to be beautified and magnified, and the world's going to be in total righteousness, and we're going to be totally changed. A whole total new creature. Just righteous. No glitch, no mark, no blemish, no spot. No, not an inkling, not a speck of wickedness amongst our nation. It says, and out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. Yeah, because we're going to be happy. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Right, because we're going to be multiplied, right? It says that their children also shall be as aforetime, fruitful, plenteous, and their congregation shall be established before me. I will punish all that oppress them. Let's deal with the first part of that. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 60. And the point is 22. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord Yahweh B'Shem El Shai, will hasten in this time. And how is that going to happen? There's going to be a whole lot of sex going on. One man is going to have as many women as his heart's desire. If a man wants to have 10,000 women or 20,000 women or more, there ain't going to be no simpish ass tank spirit, or only one woman. That's a simp spirit. Only one woman. Only relegated to one woman. You can only have one woman. When it's all right to have more than one woman. That's that westernized mentality that even Israelites that are in the truth, call themselves in the truth, are caught up in. All right, so Jeremiah 30:21, and their nobles shall be of themselves, right? Because no longer you're going to be like, oh, we got to vote. If we don't vote, they're going to put us back in slavery. As you heard Elder Pastor speak about that one individual that said that. Look, voting ain't changed a goddamn thing since Jake was allowed to vote. How in the hell you think it's going to change something now? Are you out of your mind? Don't you know that this shit is rigged? The whole shit is rigged. Like I was watching a video that popped up with Rand Paul, I believe his name was, if I'm not mistaken. And pretty much, this went back when he was young, a lot younger. I'm not sure if that was the 90s, or maybe a little before that. And pretty much, as he was saying, which many others said, like Anthony Hilden and all that, they call it a bipartisan party or a two-party, party. But it's really a one-party operation. It's just one party. The Republicans and Democrats are both on the same side. They just are made to look like they oppose each other. But they don't. Because behind the scenes, they're working for the international banking families, which all have the same goal. And they have something called control opposition. And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governors shall proceed from the midst of them. Right? Ain't going to be no more of that crap, voting for Esau, which you're not supposed to be voting for the enemy. Tells us that, and I believe what's at Deuteronomy 17, around the 15th verse. And I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engage his heart to approach unto me, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem El Shai? And you shall be my people, and I will be your power. Why? Because the whole world is told us that we are not the sons of the living power. And in this same place, it's being told us now that we are the sons of the living power. And it's going to be established once again in the earth who the sons of the living power are, who the Israelites are. Behold, the whirlwind of the Lord goeth forth with fury, a continual whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. Yeah, that's dealing with these chariots that's going to come into the house of the thief. And that's going to be the ultimate destruction of this place and the ultimate deliverance. It's a two-part judgment. One for deliverance, the other for destruction. The fierce anger of the Lord shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days you shall consider it. And we're in the latter days right now, considering all these things that are happening. That's why things are turned up so much. And the Spirit had Elder Apostle R called 2022 the year of the turn up. The year of Yahweh Bashem Shai turning up. Today being the 23rd, tomorrow being the 24th, which I was watching Elder Mawatazak's video last night, where he brought out, that this Friday coming up, which I believe is going to be the aligning of all of the planets, which they have set up there for signs, seasons, days, and years. He said that this Friday, which that's going to happen, will be the 24th, which would be 6 June, right? June 6th. 24, 2 and 4 is 6. And 2022, you add 2 plus 2 plus 2, that's 6. So 666. And there was 2 other times this particular month that happened, which was June 15th, which 1 is 5 is 6, 2022, that was 666. And then also June 6th, 2022, 666. So that's happening 3 times this month. And 3 is understanding. You see? So this place is about to implode within itself. And once the next week or so, going into July, it's going to be very bad. This guy's talking about how people travel a lot and buy a lot of food during 3 basic holidays, which is pagan holidays. That's Christmas, Thanksgiving, and July 4th. All right, it's June. Ain't no microchip. It's June. So the next highest time when people spend money for festivities and traveling is coming up now on July 4th. And then it's going to, it'd be beautiful if it went down either right at that or right after. I would prefer right at it or right before it, but whatever the Lord wants, that's what's going to go down. And it's going to get hairy out here. So with that, I pray that you brothers have been edified. I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy. That's the name of this lesson coming off of Jeremiah 30. I believe that was the 14th verse. It's going to get really bad out here. May the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shai guide us, protect us, and deliver us from the things that are coming in these next coming months, weeks, days, So with that, shalom.